Hello, and welcome to our podcast. I am Jennifer Nickerson Turner, and this is Talk Black and Give Back. Every month, we show up here to have conversations that matter to the Black community. We focus on how we can support one another, uplift one another, and most importantly, show love to our people in the community. But this month is special. We find ourselves at the intersection of two powerful celebrations, Black History Month and Valentine's Day. Now, usually when February 14th rolls around, the world gets real bright red. We talk about romance and roses and chocolate. But this year, we want to pause that commercial definition of love and give you the truest meaning of the word. When we think about the journey of the Black community in this country, the progress we've made, and the grace with which we've made it, romantic love, as beautiful as it is, doesn't quite cover it. What is the love that got us here? We know it was powerful, it was sacrificial, and it was robust. It was agape love. The Greek definition defines this as the highest form of love, a selfless, unconditional, and sacrificial love for humanity. It's not just a feeling, it's a choice, a strategy, and I'm going to go as far to say as it was a blueprint. For the next few minutes, we're going to look at the historical figures who utilized that revolutionary heart that we're discussing. We're going to discuss the love that they had to possess in their actions just to make sure that we were all better off. This isn't just going to be a history lesson. It's going to be the very definition of love as we need right now. So sit back. We're calling this session the Blueprint of Love. Let's talk about how our ancestors defined love in action. As we have to look back, not just at the dates and the movements, but the motivation of the advocates and leaders who structured our society. And let's be clear, when they operated, it was often with a target on their backs. They sacrificed their well-being so that those around them could be better. That isn't anger. That is a profound, deeply rooted love. Let's look, and some of these are going to be people that you've heard of throughout history. But for this session, I believe they are best suited for love. So we're going to look at their love languages in action. And in doing so, we're going to have to start with Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Often, his nonviolent philosophy is simplified as soft by some, but that is a misunderstanding. Dr. King's nonviolence was founded on an active love so powerful that it could withstand brutality without returning it. He famously said, "Love is the only force capable of transforming the enemy into a friend." It was a love of communal transformation. He envisioned a beloved community, a society where justice, equality, and love prevail. This agape love required him to love the oppressed enough to give them dignity and love the oppressor enough to believe they could change. That's hard work. Now let's look at Harriet Tubman. When I think of her, I think of a different kind of operational love. What she did, returning to the South 19 times, risking recapture or torture or even death to free over so many people, that is not just bravery. That is a complete sacrifice of self-preservation for the well-being of others. It's a love that says, my freedom is incomplete until our freedom is secure. Her actions were a direct statement of communal worth in the world that denied it. Now, I also want to mention Fannie Lou Hamer. Her advocacy wasn't just about voting, it was about the basic survival of her community in Mississippi. She believed, she loved her people so much that she stood up and said, "I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired." Her work was creating cooperatives for Black farmers so that they could have economic power. Now that is the love that seeds the future. And finally, I'd like to mention the brilliant Bayard Rustin. The chief organizer of the March on Washington, a strategist for nonviolent resistance, and an openly gay black man advocating in the 1960s. He knew that to truly give back, you must love every part of your people, even the parts society marginalizes. Rustin proved that to be effective, communal love has to be inclusive love. Every one of these leaders showed us that love isn't something you feel, it is something you do. It's a blueprint they left for us, structured out of sheer sacrifice. Now, do you currently see leaders around the world who have that same level of sacrifice or agape love? Because I can think of a few, but overall, when I look across the current state of our world today, I see the contrast. I see an absence of love. Hatred is being magnified left and right. An absence of love is a void, and a void is never empty. It's only filled with fear. This is something I want you all to think about. If the revolutionary heart is built on agape, on the selfless belief in others, then hatred is often built on let's say, scarcity mindset, I would say. So when love is absent, we stop seeing each other as complex human beings. We stop believing there is enough good to go around, and instead we generate fear of the others or the outsiders. Hatred is frequently misplaced, simplified fear. And when that fear is magnified through technology and echo chambers, it gives us the modern polarization and toxicity that we're observing today across the world. Every time, I can't even turn on the news. I'm not sure about you all, but I just cannot do it. I have to shut myself down. I've communicated less in the last year than I've communicated my whole life because I choose not to feed into the negativity that keeps us separated. So, this absence has a tangible ripple effect. It manifests as indifference to suffering. Look at the debates between Medicaid and the basic human rights of people, food stamps, and ways to feed people who are less fortunate. It's a systematic inequality and an overall rise in the social temperature. It is the complete opposite of the structured, connected communities our ancestors died to protect. They had an us mentality or mindset. The void encourages a me versus you mindset. So when we look around at the fractured pieces of society today, we are simply seeing a structure where the foundational ingredients of sacrificial love has been left out. This month, because we're talking about love, my call to action is to ask each of you to participate in the work, to build a world filled with agape love. Our ancestors did not give us this blueprint of love just so we could admire that drawing. They gave us a manual. Love, as they defined it, agape, is work. It is a muscle that must be practiced. So how do we counter the magnification or hate of hate? How do we follow the guidance of our ancestors right now in our local communities, in Graham, in Burlington, in Greensboro, in Durham, Raleigh, in North Carolina, South Carolina, and as a people and as a whole? We turn love into a verb. That means we get to work. Yes, people, that's what it means. It means we get to work. Practice micro acts of love. And what does that mean? It means that your daily localized choices, instead of venting online, because many of you are doing that, and you're going back and forth with all the negativity, and you vent how you feel about one party, and one party comes back, and it all just is toxic. Instead of venting online, send an encouraging message, right? Maybe so they can reflect and rethink the idea or whatever the topic is. Check in on an elder in your community. I mean, a 15-minute call or a visit is an act of sacrificial love. Maybe you can mentor a young person, show them that their inherent value, because a lot of them truly don't believe they have value. Support your communities through radical unity. The Agape blueprint requires us to heal internal fractures within the Black community. And that's going to be hard work. But we must be present and present a united front of respect and communal support to the surrounding communities that impact our lives. And finally, understand that policy is love. When you vote, advocate for housing reform, support criminal justice change, or volunteer for local initiatives that you're not engaging in, because a lot of us feel like we're engaging in politics. I don't want you to think that. What you're doing is ensuring a better future for the people you might never have even met. Like Dr. King's colleague, Cornel West, perfectly stated, justice is what love looks like in public. We need a call to action, and that call is to practice the blueprint that has been given to us. So as we close out February, as the world celebrated its special day of romance, let's remember their legacy in this Black History Month. Our Black history is love, a story that advocates who love their people more than they love their own well-being. Because that's what our legacy is. It's about people who loved us enough to sacrifice their lives, sacrifice their own well-being, so that we would be better off and not have to go back and do these things. But it seems like we're having to go back anyway. So the greatest gift that we can give this month is not a box of chocolates. It is a renewed commitment to be powerful, to be active, and to always have a revolutionary heart. Now, I hope I've brought this together for you and given you some things to think about. We love you. Our community loves you. Talk Black and Give Back is trying to benefit you in every way that we can. The funding is not there. Anything with Black in the name in this climate and in this administration is not getting financial support. So every dime is donated by people in the community. So if we have money and we can assist, reach out. You have our contact. Our phone number is 336-343-8694, or you can reach out through our contact at www.talkblackgiveback.org, and just fill out a contact card with your email and whatever question you may have. I am Jennifer Nickerson Turner of Talk Black and Give Back, and I want you to remember that the work continues. The love remains foundational, and the blueprint is in your hands. Let's go put that love into action. And until then, I'll see you next time.